time is here. Everybody knows there's not a better time of year. Hear that sleigh, Santa's on his way. Hip hip hooray for Christmas vacation.
What's up, guys? Our Wrestling Podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess's Total Package, Greg the British Bulldog, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry. Who cares? Just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic, missed opportunity, the Nexus 2000. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify,
2010, Dave.
Oh, 2010. I'm sorry, I mistyped. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give us a follow on Instagram at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast? I honestly, 2000 does seem like 2010.
13 years ago. Jesus Christ.
It's all stupid. Like, yeah,
It's insane.
when I hear something from like 2014, I'm like, isn't that long ago? And I'm like, it was.
That's 10. That's almost 10 years ago.
Like almost 10 years ago. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's
the Nexus
wild.
was 2010. That was 85 years ago. For people who don't do that.
It's a long, long time ago.
And you know what? This isn't talked about anymore because the potential was so great with the Nexus, and it fizzed out fucking fast. Really, because of one guy. Well, two guys, because there's always one that makes the final decisions. Yeah, this is a complete missed opportunity. So I was gonna do just like the legacy of the Nexus, but I was like, legacy is a bit strong because they could have been like the Shield. They could have been like something on that level. That's how they launched. That's
Can I make a bet right now what Craig is doing? I'm pretty sure he's bringing up the song. Missed opportunity on his phone device.
I can't believe I didn't say it. I'm sorry, I didn't say
that
it.
song, and
I forgot.
I will play it at the beginning of the
song. Yep. We'll find it. We'll get
and the
there
second
for you.
verse is, and we, and that's all I hear of the song because it's just right after.
Guys, I've matured. I don't do that anymore.
Well, jumping right in, the Nexus was a villainous professional wrestling stable in WWE that competed on the Raw brand from June 7th of 2010 to August 22nd of 2011. Originally consisting of 8 rookies of the NXT Season 1, it shifted their roster several times throughout their 14-month existence, with David Otunga being the only member to serve the group.
That's an interesting statistic. That's an interesting fun fact.
Yeah. Good old Otunga, yeah. Final Jeopardy, that'll be the question. Who? No, I'm sorry.
Imagine that. It's who is David Otunga?
Right. Their initial goal was to obtain WWE contracts for all members, with the exception of the original leader, Wade Barrett, who already had a WWE contract for winning the first season of NXT. On the February 2nd, 2010 edition of ECW, WWE Chairman Vince McMahon announced that NXT would replace ECW on Sci-Fi when the latter ended its run on February 16th, describing NXT as the next evolution of WWE television history. How'd that work out?
I would like to proudly announce that in 3 weeks' time, ECW will be going off the air. I would like to thank all of the technicians, cameramen, directors, producers, everyone, certainly the superstars who made ECW the success that it truly was. I would also like to thank in advance everyone, especially all of you, who will be responsible for the success of bringing a new, innovative, never-before-seen program broadcast at the very same time here on Sci-Fi. This will be the next evolution of the WWE. This will be the next evolution of television history.
Yeah, we got to stop right there. So for people who recognize the NXT brand now, it was like it replaced ECW, and it was more of a Tough Enough. It was like kind of like an updated Tough Enough, was it not?
Yeah.
And I think they even did Tough Enough after NXT. It's weird because I remember Hogan and them being on Tough Enough. So it was a weird rookie NXT kind of thing. So before it was even its own show, before it was even its own promotion or anything, before the Black and Gold, the NXT was like this almost like reality show kind of. Like it was just it was like the WWE's version of Tough Enough after Tough Enough. So it's kind of crazy to think people forget about that. And not only did the Nexus N was for NXT. So guys, NXT lineage Going back forever.
It's
Next week, Legacy of NXT.
Well, it's had several facelifts over the years. NXT has, and this is its early comings of what we see today. It's pretty impressive what you think about what NXT is now and what it does for the company. I know it sounds really weird and stupid. I'm getting a little off track, but you talk about the minors for baseball. This is not only like minor leagues for baseball. This is like the Dodger minor leagues. And if anybody watches baseball, they know what I'm talking about. They give the same amenities of major league players to minor leaguers when you're joining the Dodgers minor league sets. Do you want the software to watch your swings through iPads and be able to work on your swing all the way through? It's why they have the best minor leagues in baseball. And that's why they had like 6 Rookie of the Years in a row, not because of iPads, because that was years before, but they have the best minor league set in all of Major League Baseball. WWE has the best minor league wrestling faction around, and it's not even close because no one else even considers it. They rely on the independents to do so. It's the smartest thing they've ever done, in my opinion. And they even bring over people that are well seasoned, well veteran people from the independents. We had at one time NXT was making WWE look bad because of the talent they brought in, and I think it's been nothing but good. Even if they don't work out on the main roster, so what? You grab more, you pluck more. I know it sucks for us diehards, for people that just, oh my god, you brought that guy up.
We've talked about it many times before. Not everyone's going to main event. There's going to be mid card, and some people have to accept their role.
And some people have to bounce and go to AEW. That's okay too, you know. Yep. And again, but where would they have been without it? I think it's helped. I think it's helped more people than it's hurt.
NXT, like the developmental center, has been like one of the greatest things that they ever created, and it was Triple H's brainchild. Craig loves that.
It was Dusty Rhodes' brainchild.
Oh my goodness. The series ran them through a competition to become WWE's next breakout star with the help of mentors from WWE Raw and SmackDown brands. On the June 1st, 2010 edition of NXT, Barrett was declared the winner over Otunga, and as a result was awarded a WWE contract and a championship match at a
I've got some good news.
That
was when he was good news,
Barrett.
Good.
Yeah, I heard about that. Of his choosing, he ultimately chose Night of Champions, while the others were left without a job. The group made its debut on June 7th of 2010. That's when he goes,
I've got some bad news. It all happened in the same week. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and you all don't have contracts.
Okay, boogie.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a visitor. We saw him earlier tonight. That's Wade Barrett. He is the winner of NXT Season 1, that rookie competition, as John Cena looks to put CM Punk away.
And Cena obviously distracted, but there's a 5-knuckle shuffle.
John Cena.
The group made its debut on June 7th of 2010, Viewers' Choice edition of Raw, during the main event, which saw CM Punk face John Cena, by the way. That's big right there. They attacked Cena, Punk, Luke Gallows, Hall of Famer Jerry Lawler, NXT host Max Striker. I forgot about Striker. Wow. Then Raw Wing announcer Justin Roberts, timekeeper Mark Eaton, and other WWE personnel around the ring before destroying everything at ringside, including the ring itself, forcing the match to end in a no contest. That's decent storytelling, by the way.
That's how it started off. And they shot it as real. Like, they came out of the crowd. They fucking attacked everybody. They beat the shit out of the ring announcer and the broadcasters, and so it was silent.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing, that they kept it silent.
Yeah, they kept it silent, and it was all these unknown people. I mean, you knew Barrett and stuff from like the NXT, you know, they just did the competition, but nobody really knew anything about them or their characters or whatever. And it was just, what an amazing debut. Probably one of the greatest debut in WWE history. Like,
can I ask a question? What do you think was more like, oh my god, like holy shit moment? Because the police were called to the one I'm going to bring up. When Rey Mysterio was lawn darted into the TV trailer, and people thought that they were really fighting those people for real because they came out of nowhere and were destroying.
Well, the fact that you say that, actually, this was reminded me of that. It was real.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's very.
We all knew wrestling was fake, but then they did something like and this, it happened to be in the ring, and I want to say they tore the ringside apart.
Yeah. You'd never seen the wooden boards ripped up, I think. Or I had not recalled a move where you'd seen the slats of wood on the ring for the first time.
And I can't even play. The thing is I can't even play an audio clip of this because there was no sound. There was no commentators. I mean, there was sound of the crowd, but like it was just like it was just such an awe-inspiring moment. Now I'm regretting writing this episode because I can't even fucking play the audio of the.
And these 8 rookies who were a part of the NXT first season have surrounded John Cena in the ring.
I don't think they came to make friends with John at all.
My lord, the ref.
Oh my God. This is a referee.
John Cena went after Barrett, but ladies and gentlemen, it's 8-on-1. It's a boogie.
You're right.
It is 8-on-1. Oh my lord, John Cena's being manhandled.
What are these guys doing here? What is this?
He's down. They're pulling and tearing at him. Like he's a piece of raw meat.
Guys aren't even still with the.
Okay, looks like a pack of dogs. You see, Cena was just reaching out for help. Serious situation. Punk and Gallows are down at ringside as Cena's getting.
It's like a pack of lions.
Big moment, but yeah, it was just crazy. It was like I remember just going, oh, wrestling just got interesting when they can take you out of it and kind of bring you back, and the product maybe was stale-ish at this point, and they did something like this. I was like, wow, like, and I remember everybody talking.
The way you wrote this, Jess, it definitely reminded me of that NWO outside of the actual.
Yeah,
they left everything a mess. The entire ringside area was Cena was stretchered out.
And then Dave's going to get on here to some real life stuff that happened afterwards as a result of this.
Yeah. It said Cena's being taken out of the stretcher, as Craig had mentioned. Daniel Bryan strangled Roberts with a necktie and a sign of disrespect.
That's the still you should put, Jeff.
Spit in John Cena's face, the latter of which led him to be released from his contract on June 11th, 2010, as WWE repeatedly felt those acts were too violent for the company's TV PG programming.
They were doubling down on the PG programming, and Daniel Bryan was original part of Nexus here. We didn't say it, but he was one of the guys that was on the program. And inside wrestling, people were appalled because Bryan Danielson was a Ring of Honor hero, an indie hero or whatever, and then they put him also, I think they also put him against The Miz. The Miz is one of the trainers on there, and the whole irritating thing that Daniel Bryan would talk about later was like, I could wrestle circles around this motherfucker,
and he
they
can.
Put him
it's
with
not,
me.
it's not untrue.
And he can, but it was about creating characters. Like nobody knew really on a big scale who he was. But again, I'm getting off track.
They know now.
He was one of the ones that no shit, right? So he was one of the ones who jumped the rail, and so he decided to improv and took Justin Roberts' necktie and strangled him with it. Well, the camera fucking zoomed in right on it, and that's not very PG, and so he legitly got let out of the contract.
So stupid.
And he spit in Cena's face, But so basically, what they did is Dave will read on. It's
fascinating to me that you want this shock moment, but that was too shocking for your shock moment. Settle down. Come on.
I mean, I guess they didn't know they didn't want people to stimulate choking until it actually happened. They're like, you can't do that.
Okay, then we won't. It's funny. Okay, we won't do that again. Sorry.
Did you not learn anything in 1989 when Funk was in the feud with Flair? It was a famous scene where Flair was in the ring cutting a promo, and Funk gets in the ring behind him and puts a goddamn bag over his head and fucking tightens it over his head and starts beating the shit out of him. And people back then in 89, they're like, you don't do that. TBS was like, no. It was just kind of like don't fucking suffocate somebody. It was crazy. And so Daniel Bryan's like, let me just fucking choke you with your fucking shit. And they're like, no.
Your number one star, Luger in the face.
Oh, yeah. The segment was brilliant television. It was produced in such a way viewers would question if it was unscripted or not part of the show. With Barrett as their leader, the Nexus consisted of Darren Young, Skip Sheffield, Michael Tarver,
Ryback,
Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater, and David Otunga. I got kids, Heath Slater said.
I would not be surprised, and reading this and then knowing what comes later, I would not be surprised. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe that the choking with the necktie was a nice excuse, but the real reason was spitting in Cena's face. And Cena's like, "I want him out of here."
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I always hated to think Cena was that petty, but then when we read forward and kind of read on here, it's like, oh shit, maybe. Never know.
Yeah. You know what I think about that? I got a theory on that. I think John Cena didn't want to rock any boats, and if somebody got pissed that Cena was disrespected in some way, he wasn't going to challenge it and say, hey, leave it alone. That's what I think. I think that's more accurate.
I think partly, and I think that when you read on later, you'll rethink that. I think
Well, we'll
Cena's in a lot more control than people think, and rightfully so. I've always defended the guys up at the tippity top like that, right?
They do what they have to do to keep the
listen,
spot.
whether he brought in the same money as these people is irrelevant, but he had the same air that he breathed as The Rock and Hogan and Austin and all the really tippy top guys. You don't really know what it's like until you're up there. Only a few people, I mean, a handful of people, and all the wrestlers in all of wrestling history have breathed that air with Vince and been that close with Vince.
Barrett claimed their violent arrival was a result of their mistreatment.
I like the way you
during
said that. Like we don't know what Cena's career is
We'll
going to be.
see.
We'll see if
We'll
Cena.
We'll see.
We'll see what Cena
We'll
does.
see.
We'll see what he
He'll be
becomes.
fine.
Just watch that. Just watch that scene
We'll
with
see
that little.
how Cena's career plays
Watch
out.
that.
We'll see what
Watch
he
that
does.
Cena's tea time with that little old lady. You can't see me.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm out of a job. Yeah, it's fantastic. Barrett claimed that their violent arrival was a result of their mistreatment by John Cena. Just kidding. But probably during the NXT competition, and insinuated that their issues lied more with the WWE management than anyone in the locker room except their mentor, Pros. None of the members apologized for the events of the previous week when prompted by Barrett, as he had been asked to do by higher-ups earlier in the day. During the summer of 2010, Nexus had a feud with Cena. First, Cena was scheduled to face the Nexus in a 7-on-1 handicap match on the July 12th, 2010 edition of Raw, but Cena attacked Darren Young the previous week, subsequently removing him from the following week's match, which became a 6-on-1 handicap match.
Way more fair when it's 6-on-1 than 7-on-1.
Nexus won anyway. Well, that's why Cena got mad. You guys are just biased. I'm just kidding. I don't care. Their following match would take place at SummerSlam, where the Nexus faced.
This is where, by the way, this is where the damage was done.
Edge, Jericho, John Morrison, R-Truth, and the returning Bryant, who replaced the Great Khali. Thank God for that.
So Daniel Bryan
Cena
returned.
pinned
So
Gabriel.
basically what they did was they fired him for a couple of months to get the shit to die down, and then they rehired him. So Daniel Bryan was rehired, and then they thought, you know what? They had a good idea. Let's make him a face. Let's make him against the Nexus. And
According to Edge and Jericho, not Nia Jax, the original plan was to put Barrett over and establish them as legitimate threats.
That's
to
a
the
good idea. Let's go with that.
With Edge, yeah, and Jericho being the last members of Team WWE to be eliminated by Barrett, but Cena refused to lose to the Nexus and had the finish changed around the time of the event.
And both wrestlers, Jericho and Edge, confirmed this. They were like, when they heard the finish, like the original finish, they were like, "This is great. It's going to keep heat on. Nexus should win. This is what we want."
Let's
and
build
I guess
it to something else, right?
Cena pitched a fit, and Jericho said he went to Cena. He's like, "Hey, man, like, Edge and I were talking, and you want to squash them? Like, you want to just beat all of them?" He's like, "Yeah, it's fine." And he's like, "It's not fine." They're like, "No, like, you're going to kill all of their heat." And so they went out, they did John Cena's way because he politicked. And then afterwards, Cena heard the reaction and he went to the back. And I guess Cena apologized to the Nexus and went to Edge and Jericho and said, "You were right. I'm sorry."
Right.
The damage had already been done. It doesn't matter at that point. But see, they said Cena was legitimately remorseful. But I'm like, yeah, but you fucked it up, though. He single-handedly killed the Nexus right here.
So trying to get your hands on Vince during a pay-per-view day or a TV day or anything is tough. So it took about an hour or so for us to track him down and wait outside his office and get to speak to him. We go in there and have a chat with him and say, "Hey, Vince, is the situation. We've just been told that John's going over in this match. We think it's a bad idea. We think we need to go over." And Vince looked me in the eye and told me, "The reason we're doing this is because SummerSlam needs to have a happy ending," which is a different kind of happy ending to the one you're thinking about now. We didn't want that. We wanted one of the kids to go home happy, which, so there's not a lot you can do at that point. We've argued our case. Vince, we need to go over. No, here's what I need. I need this to go over well at the end. I need the kids to be happy. So I knew at that point I was being lied to. I knew it was a nonsense. It was a nonsense reply. I didn't believe it at all, and I don't believe it to this day. I thought it was a terrible idea. I don't think you'll find anybody who will come forward and say, at any level of wrestling, says, "Yeah, that was the right decision that day," but that's what it was, and there was nothing we could do about it. The decision had been made. How they got to that decision, I don't know, but Vince looked me in the eye and told me that was the reason. I don't believe it, but there we go.
Like, right there, he murdered him. Right in SummerSlam. Right in front of him. Didn't even go to jail.
He knows he made a mistake.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan gets busted for choking someone with a tie, but Cena assassinates an entire
But he made
angle,
up for it by using him to further his own spot for
That doesn't hurt
leading them
ratings,
and then
by the way.
Yeah.
being the focal point of the entire night. That's good.
Yeah, doesn't mess with the
That was
PG rating either, so it's fine. It's all good.
So this was it to talk about this point is this killed the Nexus, and they're only what 3 months in, 4 months
Slater
in?
and Young admit that right away. This permanently crippled the stable. At Hell in a Cell on October 3rd, Barrett and Cena face each other in a match with the stipulation that if Barrett won, Cena would have to join the Nexus. But if Cena won or any other Nexus member got involved, the group would be permanently disbanded, which is what they wanted. Thanks to interference from Husky Harris.
Bray Wyatt.
Who's that, guys? Oh, we missed
Too
him.
soon.
Too soon. Not really. And Michael McGillicuddy, 2 rookies from the second season of NXT who would later join the Nexus on the October 25th, 2010 edition of Raw. Barrett managed to win the match and keep the group going as Cena was forced to join the Nexus because they weren't.
So he kills their momentum, and then he's just like,
I'll
"I'm going to join later." Not really. They're going to.
Well,
make
I think he's trying to make it up. Honestly, he's trying to make.
Could be. That's a good point.
And unfortunately, their loss at SummerSlam took all the group's momentum away, and they became just another generic heel faction for Cena to defeat. At Bragging Rights on October 24th, the Nexus won their first championship in WWE when Cena and Otunga defeated Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Wow.
So Cena was a part of their first title win.
Okay. Trying to help him out.
Okay.
Yeah, the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Okay. He's trying to help him out.
Trying to elevate him.
Yeah, it's all good. Yep, trying to elevate him. I told you. But I got it. But it's got to be my.
Why do I hate Cena in this episode?
Because he killed him,
I like
and then,
Cena.
then they all just took advantage of him, and then later on we'll find out another dude that just took advantage of them.
I'm instantly turning against Cena every sentence Dave reads. I'm like, that motherfucker.
At Survivor
just
Series
kill
on
7
November
young guys
21st,
right
Orton
away.
Retained the WWE Championship against Barrett via pinfall following an RKO, and Cena was fired.
Oh, so Barrett gets now he's getting
Cena was
clean.
fired and then showed up every week after. So he never went away.
Yep,
he
from
never went away.
WWE,
So there was no point to
He's
it.
subsequently exiled from the Nexus. Cena was the special
That's
guest
weird.
referee, though,
Oh,
as
that's
Craig
cool.
said, appointed by Barrett.
Because why would their biggest star actually
and
go
will be
away for a
fired
couple
if
weeks?
Barrett lost.
Everything is nonsensical.
Sorry. Boy, I got caught up in the whole
Listen, not only did John Cena count the 3, I'll give it to him. He hesitated, but he did the right thing. He counted 3. But before he did it, he shoved Wade Barrett right into that RKO.
I said I had a bad feeling.
Fucked up everything.
The following night on Raw, Miz cashed in his money in the bank and became the WWE champion after Cena attacked Barrett, allowing Orton to pin Barrett and retain the title. In the rematch from the night before, Orton, tired and hurt, could not fend off the Miz, which I love.
So he lost at Survivor Series, Barrett did, and then the next night they're like, "Let's rematch," and then he loses again fair, and then Miz is like, dun, 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 and Miz walks down and gets it. I mean, good for Miz. We all love that moment, but like poor Barrett, it's like, "Well, I got you." Like
I've got some bad news. I'm in a shitty.
I've got some bad news for myself.
Exactly. Yeah. Despite being fired by Barrett, Cena continued to show up on Raw in a bad disguise as a ticket holder in the subsequent weeks, further weakening the storyline and making fools out of the Nexus. Barrett and Cena settled the score in a chairs match at TLC. Tables, ladders, and chairs. At TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs on December 19th. Cena defeated Barrett in the main event, and after the match, dropped 23 steel chairs from the stage on him. After
it was the chairs that were hanging from the very top 22. Down on one string.
Yeah, they had like a set where they were on cables, and then it was rigged, so Cena cut it, and all the chairs went like right down on Barrett.
I'm sure it was fine.
Which is perfect because that's what he was doing.
Let's just bury him under a big pile of chairs.
It's super poetic, yeah.
It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Shoulder. Cena into the cover. Cena has done it.
Now winner of this match, John Cena.
John Cena has fulfilled his promise. He's fulfilled his prophecy to take on all the members of Nexus. John Cena has taken out the leader, Wade Barrett. That was the damnedest.
Well, Barrett,
all of the
Barrett
chairs,
sounds
Dave
the
didn't read this,
same.
but all of the chairs had Vince McMahon's face on it. Everyone had a chair. And they were all laughing as they fell down. Yeah, I love
Whatever
it.
you say, John. Good point, John. John, it's good. Let's go, John. John.
Lots of chairs, John. Go do the chairs, John.
On the January 3rd, 2011 edition of Raw, the Nexus ambiguously announced after months of repeated attacks on Cena and the WWE roster that it was under new management, with Punk, who disbanded the Straight Edge Society the previous September, being revealed as their new leader. He acquired the position after Barrett lost a #1 contendership steel cage match involving Orton and Sheamus. Punk, having agreed to fall in line, had Barrett successfully won the title shot, teased helping Barrett escape the cage before knocking him off of it. Barrett was subsequently exiled from the Nexus, which would be renamed the New Nexus, to distance itself from former leadership.
You know what's going to really get Barrett over? Let me just say this out loud. Is making him look like a fool against Cena for months and months and months. And then kicking him out of the group because the other person, CM Punk, turns on him or whatever. That would turn him into a baby face. I wonder how that worked out. I wonder how that worked out.
I think
that's
Barrett
like the opposite. That's the anti-baby face like formula right there. Make him look like a fool, and then get him kicked out, and then expect the fans to be like, "We want Barrett." Clap, 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 clap. We want no.
Maybe they believed in Barrett more than they should. I don't know.
That's purposely.
That's just everyone using Barrett for their own, and then down. Whatever. Like
again. Stop getting hurt, and they won't wreck you on storyline.
Well, now I'm glad he's commentator. I still hate him.
I don't think he wasn't hurt.
I got some bad news, Jess. I will be there next week.
Yeah, he got fucked over, and he did get injured later, Dave. You are correct. But right here, a lot of fuckery.
It's like they knew. It's like they knew.
It's like he didn't know how to handle the politics or fight for himself. He's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that."
Cena was so smart. He's like, "You know what, guys? He
did a great job in the role. Nothing could bring back the group's heat due to the months of terrible booking, Jess." Punk would eventually earn a title shot against Cena at Money in the Bank 2011. He would cut the famous pipe bomb
as the head of
promo
Nexus. So he's really going to elevate the group of Nexus after this and take him with him, right? Is he going to?
Of course. Dave's going to read on, and we're going to find out that Nexus went on to become as big as the Shield and the Horsemen.
Money in the Bank and the big.
He told everyone that once his contract expired, Money in the Bank, that he would be the last time WWE would ever see him and the WWE Championship, as he considered taking his talents to other promotions such as Ring of Honor, New Japan, etc. With his victory over Cena on July 17, 2011, the WWE Championship was finally held by the Nexus stable on their last night of existence. The group's final members.
I need to do research on that fact because I read that. I get a lot of my notes from Wikipedia, and I just doctor them up.
Well, technically, he was part of Nexus, so
and never mentioned them again, and never officially quit after that. So they literally just got dropped.
He never quit. They separated him, and they gave him a world title match against Cena, and then they stopped talking about him in the Nexus, and then he started talking about my contracts coming up, and then he did the pipe bomb, and then he's 100%. Like, if I win the title, I'm taking it out of the company, which is brilliant. All of
it never fell out of the stable.
I didn't remember when I wrote this episode that the Nexus angle kind of guided Punk right into the pipe bomb Punk and all that. I didn't remember that at all.
The group's final members function as a tag team with the new Nexus banner until August 1st of 2011 and continued without the
bye
until August 22nd, when the group disbanded after a 14-month existence following a loss to the WWE Tag Team Championships. Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne.
I wish I had one of those old original Nexus shirts, so those are kind of cool.
Jerry was almost running away. And trouble in paradise. There is indeed trouble in paradise. And the tag team champions are successful.
Hey, isn't Jennifer Hudson this match? WWE Tag Team Champions Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne.
I was saying Jennifer's husband is Otunga. Isn't she on Dreamgirls? Yeah, she was in that movie.
And they had the armbands. So they used to wear the Nexus armbands or whatever. Like it was it was the reason why I wanted to do this was because it is a major missed opportunity. Probably of all the other missed opportunity episodes that I've written, this one I was like, why did I wait so long
Can
to
I
do
be a
this?
dick
Like,
a little bit? I mean, can I just kind of...
Sure.
You're mad because Cena buried them, right? That's really the missed opportunity you're talking about.
Yeah,
But
I mean, okay. I mean, it's really Vince, but okay.
But this is a heel faction that lasted well over a year in the Vince McMahon changed my mind era every 5 minutes. I mean, is it really that bad? I'm playing.
No, it is that bad. Well, it absolutely is that bad. But I think the blame should be more on Vince than Cena.
Yeah.
I think Cena politicked in the back, but Vince had no confidence in the beginning. How Vince didn't see the impact when they came out and they destroyed the ringside when they debuted. I mean, the Shield debuted in a similar way, and Vince fucking put the rocket on them. And like, I don't know how he didn't want to do that with here. Just feeling that reaction and feeling everything, I'm like, dude,
Sure.
They had
right
it.
there, right in
It was
front of
right
you.
there.
And instead, Vince is like, no, like I'm gonna listen to Cena. I'm gonna listen to whatever. And again, I don't really blame Cena. I know we mocked him a lot in this episode, but
you can try to argue that the talent wasn't there, but Daniel Bryan was in that faction.
Daniel
alone.
Bryan,
There's talent.
Bray
Wade
Wyatt, Ryback, Wade Barrett, like
Wade Barrett,
just the 5 guys, 4 or
Heath
5
Slater,
guys that became
Justin
absolute
Gabriel.
stars, and they kind of buried them all.
That's why.
he's my guy.
I gotta take care of my guy.
You're
fired. I'm sorry.
Can't
man.
embarrass him. He can't be
But
stretchered out. And
I really,
lose.
And get spit on.
after I wrote this, I was like, why? This should have been my first missed opportunity. Like, it should have been like the one.
And
This
maybe
is
to
totally missed
Cena's
opportunity.
point, it's like I can't be stretchered out and then not have any comeuppance at all. So
Yeah,
maybe
because he'd
there
never
was
recover. He would never recover. Yeah, he's right. Yeah. It's stupid.
Well, there you go.
It's like Hogan,
For
his
audio-
dumb shit ideas. Like when Hogan got so big, he's like, I can't do that, brother. I'm like, you're fucking Hulk Hogan. You'll be
No,
fine.
you can do
He's like,
whatever you
no,
want.
brother.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
no.
audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts, or watch our
Hard
videos
brother.
on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you give us a follow at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast? For Craig, Jess, and Dave, this is the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.
It's that time. Christmas time is here. Everybody knows